On to this morning on ITV, and right now I'm moving over to Lagos, more or less like having Lagos in Benin at the moment, where we saw last weekend that the impeached Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, had a press conference where he said so many things regarding what happened sometime recently in Lagos State. Of course, you're aware that we now have a new speaker who happens to be a female. So there are so many things he actually said during the press conference. He talked about the fact that you cannot remove him as a speaker. He is still the speaker. How about you follow due process in getting to remove him as the speaker? And he also made mention of the fact that he alleged that his family was actually not allowed into his house during that period, and there were so many things that happened during the course of the impeachment and everything. So we're going to be discussing it this morning, and we have our guests to join us virtually from Lagos. But I have seated with me in the studio Joshua. So tell me, when you heard Mudashiru during the course of the weekend, what was the first thing that came to your mind regarding everything that he said so far?
Well, he made his statement especially with the fact that he's still the Speaker of the House. And of course, he's standing on the fact that whatever that has to happen in terms of his impeachment doesn't need to come through the window. It has to come through the right process, which means you have to go through the House to get a certain number of, members in the House, the two-thirds of the members of the House to be able to impeach him, which he felt that should have been done. But looking at the rumors flying in the air that he's been impeached, and of course the new president on board is already the new Speaker of the House, he still stands on the same, protocol that he's still the Speaker of the House. And until the right, thing is done, he would not listen to, mere hearsay. But then, if you look at also other areas as regards his ambition to run as a governor, there's nothing wrong in him, vying for that position of office. But of course, if anything has to do with his misappropriation of funds as alleged, it has to be proven in court. And until that is done, he still sees himself as being fit, because he said there's nothing wrong, it's not even a sin for him as the Speaker of the House to be able to vie for that office.
Now the main question really is, can you be more Lagosian than a Lagosian, really, with everything that has been going on so far? And I honestly wonder how Mojisola Miranda, that's the new speaker, will be taking all of this, because for him to say he's still the speaker when we all know that we have a new person on board, says a lot. I don't know if we have our guest ready at this point to take us through what's going on in Lagos at the moment. And hopefully, during the course of the show, we'll also have someone join us from the Lagos State House of Assembly, Ibo J. Korea. Well, good morning and welcome. Good morning, you're live, if you can hear me.
Good morning. My name is Otumba Kenny Odugbemi from your Lagos studio. Thank you very much.
Great to see you this morning, Kenny. So tell us what really is going on right now in Lagos State regarding this whole impeachment saga, as I love to call it.
Thank you very much. But before we proceed on what is happening in Lagos, which I would describe as being a hullabaloo within the political framework, it is good for me to establish some fundamentals that would drive our discussion today. And also, there's a lot of misconception in the media, which we need to straighten out. We have Constitution, 99 Constitution. There is no provision for impeachment. The provision is removal from office. Because the concept of impeachment has to do with when you have an allegation before the offending officer. And many a times, allegation doesn't amount to guilt until it is firmly established. Take, for instance, allegation through impeachment is not all the time that will lead to removal. But we must establish from the order of the House that the member of Lagos State House of Assembly, they have an inalienable right under statutory order to remove principal officer. In compliance with Nigerian Constitution, Section 92 of 99 Constitution, they met the provision, which means the removal of a speaker can be by resolution of 2/3 majority alone. Suffice to say, as of today, even the two past speakers, Senator Mamora and Kuforiji, also confirm that Obasa has been removed from office. And the post-removal action actually confirmed his impeachment process. Let us now go into the analysis of the Lagos House of Assembly, having established the fundamental that will drive our discussion. The allegation against him is one, misconduct and corruption and high-handedness. To the best of my knowledge, misconduct has to be established, corruption has to be established, but the public can establish high-handedness through the last conference he freely offered, where he himself in rather an abusive statement against, he had, they are not better, that he is qualified. And to the best of my knowledge, there are some otherwise the statutory order provision. And also, they established that corruption against him, that he constructed a gate to the tune of 16 billion naira. And he was also bought Hilux vehicle at 1 billion naira each. They regarded him as being very autocratic, which means he could not ensure a harmonious relationship with other arms of government. And that itself fall out of the fact that during large budget appropriation that the governor and the governing advisory council were in the House of Assembly, they were neglected for more than 5 hours. In fact, when there was a point of order from the members of the House to recognize the governor, he pushed the order down, which means ethically he has erred within the provision of the Constitution and also the statutory order of the House. Now, secondly, if you look at Order 5, Rule 3 of the statutory order, it means a speaker must be able to maintain an order and decorum. And from instances provided by the Lagos Assembly, he violated the order. Order 6, Rule 1, states that any member of the House elected into the House must declare their interest before the House before making it public. He also violated that order. And in response to the order, if you check Section 92 of 99 Constitution, the Lagos House complied with that order. Because what they need to do is, based on the evidences they have, they have 2/3 majority, he can be removed, not impeached. The two of them are not distinct. Until it is proved beyond reasonable doubt, that is when you organize him. Okay. But now the circumstances concerning impeachment fell out of his post-removal action.
Now, you said a lot of things.
When he came,
Otumba, if you can hear me, you said a lot of things regarding giving us a beautiful, amazing background to the story, and I totally love it. But I would love you now to react to what he did during the press conference. Everything that he said so far, with the fact that he said he cannot be impeached, he cannot be removed, either ways, but we know what is on ground right now. So what do you make out of his response and his own reaction to his removal as the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly?
Thank you very much for that very, very thought-provoking question. I will regard that as what I call post-removal action. He conducted a press conference. And when you analyze carefully the choice of language, his posture, he has what I call intransigent possession, which already caused a hit in the polity, throwing the house into a disarray through his provoking statement. And it shows that he's a man that is ignorant of the proceeding of the in the order of the house, and also it shows his novice to the statutory other provision, and also to the provision of the Constitution. Come to think of it, he can be removed, and the only thing they owe him is the 2/3 majority agreeing on over. Now, he raised an issue in his own defense through his discussion that they did not give him opportunity for defense. Remember, what the House did was to remove, which is their inalienable right. But this conduct actually led to impeachment, because as of today, silence to the best in the law is consent. You cannot be addressing the people saying you are not guilty without a proven evidences. And it is not the issue of legality. He has violated what we're talking about. Now, he is also saying there is a proof to show that he has not been able to maintain harmonious relationship. And also is claiming that the allegation of misconduct and mismanagement leveled against him are baseless and absurd, which he could not substantiate. If truly they are baseless and absurd, I expect him to have a proof of evidences to show, and also be to conduct himself in a manner to show that he has decorum. He still respects the sanctity of the house, and also he believes in the statutory order provision, and also respect the constitutional order of Nigeria, which to the best of my knowledge he has violated. In fact, he caused a kind of disarray within the governing advisory council, where through his action and the PT party, a member of the advisory council, former Senator Adefuye, to the best of my knowledge, also introduced a new gaffe. He himself cannot come to the public to support the former speaker. Okay. He also need to have gone through the governor advisory council before making a proclamation, because he is not representing himself, he is representing the council, which to the bin mama, he also introduced a gap. So I want to submit before the audience and before you, my colleagues, that he has erred in position of the law.
Okay, so if you can hear me, my next question to you would be referring you also back to the press conference that he organized. If you could hear what he said during the press conference, he said he's been in the House as a member for over 2 decades, and of course, being the Speaker for close to a decade now, he understands the inner workings of how things ought to be done. But of course, he tends to be enjoying this relationship of being the Speaker until when he decided to put an eye on the prize, which is to become the next governor. And that was where the issue of he not being, as it were, a legal professional came into being. So why do you think all of this is coming up? Because of course they said, according to the information that we're going on social media, that he's parading himself as being a legal professional, whereas he does not bag any degree in law. So what's your take on that? Can you hear me? I guess we're having issues with the connection.
Okay,
so while we're yet to connect with him, you know, there's this issue of he parading himself as a legal professional, which of course, information that has been circulating on social media says he does not hold any degree in law. So what's your take on that?
Well, honestly, there's been so many things on social media so far, and regarding the fact that you said all of this started when he showed interest in the big prize. I don't know. I feel like it's absurd right now talking about who becomes the next governor of Lagos State when this is just 2025, right? And then it's still like 2027, and we still have Sanwo-Olu who just, kickstarted his second tenure. So I feel like it's really, truly absurd with everything going on right now. And interestingly, we also saw last weekend that the Lagos State government came out
I think he's
to
back
react
on.
to it.
So maybe we'll get your take on
Right.
that, but let's just hear his own perspective on the matter. So, Mr. Kenny, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, so I want to assume you heard my question, but if not, I could take it back again.
Yes,
Confirm if you
question.
did, please. Did you get my
I had
question?
your question. Let me be frank with you. If you call yourself a lawyer, it is not by professing yourself to be a lawyer. It is by acting within the dictate of the law and show the right understanding. Even from what he has done, has proved himself that there is the issue of being a lawyer has some element of conundrum. Let's be frank. If you are properly audited, you could not interpret the order of the house very well. You could not interpret the law very well. And you said you are a lawyer, yet you are casting a doubt. And secondly, if you violate the position of the order, which means before you come in and declare your interest, you must declare for the house. And he did not declare from the house and is a lawyer. And secondly, there were evidences beyond reasonable doubt that in the legal counsel, they couldn't find his name. They said you are a lawyer. Law school, your name must be there, a practicing lawyer, having got LLB and BL. And also, issue of certificate is a thing that has been in the air. Anybody can parade any certificate until you prove beyond reasonable doubt. And also, when there's no smoke, there won't be any fire. When you put yourself into the court of, they say if you go to court, the outcome of the court, you can't be friend. When you make your case open before the court of the people, then you'll be scrutinized very well. So it's not the issue of saying he showed interest, it's how he showed interest. If you are very flagrant, abuse of office, abuse of power, disrespect for member, and if you can come openly to say the past governors are not better than you, that you are even better than them, that there's no crime, those are languages that is not synonymous with somebody who maintains decorum, understanding of the standing order, respect for constitution, order.
All right, so my question now will be in response to what you said, because obviously he's been the speaker for over a decade or close to a decade, if I'm not wrong. But my question to you would be, why is it that it was until when he showed that interest to run for the office of the governor was when the issue of he not being a legal professional came up? Does it mean that he was parading himself as a lawyer, perhaps with no certificate backing it up? That's my question.
Let me be frank with you. My people will say, Idalode Loridowe. That is, when there's a fight, any song you do will be abusive. That's the interpretation. Come to think of it, if you can be in a house, look, let's be frank, many of the people in the house, if you look at them, they deserve to be screened properly in terms of ethics, in terms of character, in terms of competency, in terms of competence. And you will see now that our people vote for because of stomach infrastructure. If you carry a due diligence of the house, you'll be worried about the quality and the feel. Because you've been in the house for a decade, does that mean you are delivering values? It might be raw Peter to paper, but until you begin to show your true color, when they begin to know you. Look, you can be in the house for 20-something. If you don't come out with your true color, people will not be able to analyze you properly. But because of his interest, because of his pride, because of the way he carried himself, because of the autocratic nature, abusive nature, hard-headedness. Look, the Speaker of the House is not the head. He's just a glorified head that derives his power from the member. Remember, speakership is nominated. It is selected. You are not voted for as a speaker. Because you see clearly now, there's a clear-cut different impeachment process of a governor or Senate president than the speaker. Speaker can be removed. What we're saying is this: if you want to do about the governor, 1/3 of the majority with the people that will file on, it must be a query, and the outcome of it all must be debated into the House, and the House 2/3 majority must sign into it. That is impeachment process. By the fact that he was voted for as a governor, Obasa was not voted for a speaker. He was voted for as a member of Lagos House of Assembly. So the amenable right he has is the vote he got from his people to be in the House. But the right he wants to exhibit, the violation of the right of the being a speaker, is subject to the statutory order of the House. And I have established foundation that he has erred against the statutory order, and also substantiated from Constitution section 92 of 99 Constitution that removal by resolution can be sustained between the constitutional provision. He himself acting ultra-vires to the constitutional provision, to the understanding of the statutory order that reveals him, shows that he is not knowledgeable in the position of law.
Interesting. Well, there are those who would say to Mr. Obasa that he should even be lucky that he wasn't suspended. I mean, he still has the right to attend sessions and all that if he is going to. But right now, Mr. Kenny, I'd love us to look at the legal implications to all of this regarding what is on ground right now, especially for Obasa.
Let's look at the legal implication. You see, the legal implication must be the power they derive from Constitution. If we're able to establish a locus from the constitutional provision that he violated, yes, then we can say it can be removed. The only concept they want to do is impeachment, for him to be impeached. What we're saying is the constitutional provision removal from office, because he was not voted as a speaker. The only thing he can argue is that being given opportunity for him to defend himself against the criminal charges, which I believe they ought to they ought to file before EFCC. There must be no protectionist approach. Let the House file with the EFCC and let him come and defend ourselves against the criminal charges. But he stands removed by provision of statutory order, being the resolution of 2/3 majority, and any act of intransigent posture that can stand tantamount to that of the House is also an offense. Any act for him to throw the House into confusion, hubbub, any act of unparliamentary action is also an offense. He's still a parliamentary member. He should understand that. He's not operating in the garage. We should lower pride, arrogance in the way we get ourselves to position. The problem we have in Nigeria, most people
Kenny,
are...
I really must thank you. We really need to leave the conversation here. Of course, it's an unending one, and we'll interestingly follow through to see how things eventually turn out. We've been speaking to Otumba Kenny Odugbemi, right there in Lagos State, Nigeria. Thank you so much for coming on board this morning.
Thank you.